Dinner handled, something you hope for at the end of a busy day. A day filled with hundreds of small decisions. If you get home at 6 p.m., open the fridge, stare into it, and close it, and then open DoorDash scrolling for the perfect greasy option, this video is for you. I planned over 300,000 meals in the Coast Guard for a couple hundred sailors for months and months out at sea. Not a single grocery store in sight. But you don't freestyle a dinner in that environment. You run a system again and again that's simple enough to repeat without thinking. I brought 3 habits home from that. The third one, almost nobody runs right. But run all 3 together and here's what happens. You don't think about what's for dinner anymore. 6 p.m. hits, but dinner's already decided way before then. Habit 1, this is the one I run every Sunday. It takes 10 minutes and it kills 5 weeknight dinner decisions. What I do 99% of Sunday mornings is I sit down with my wife and myself. You can do this with your partner, your friend, your roommate, your dog if you live alone, whoever you live in your household, whoever's eating with you. That's the whole concept here. You're going to sit down for 10 minutes Sunday. You're going to figure out a few things. You can use a notepad, your phone, a computer, whatever works for you. I'm going to walk you through my notepad and I'm going to show you some real life examples from the past few weeks or so with my proven 3-step process that is so simple, you're able to repeat it week after week without thinking about it every time. Step 1 is something almost everybody skips. So step 1 here, we're going to plan your week first, not your meals. I'm going to show you an example of one of my weeks coming up, right? Many times I might have a doctor's appointment in the morning here, 8 a.m. or so, sometimes earlier. Next week, for instance, my wife, she's got a work trip. She's going out of town a couple hours away. So most likely she might be around for breakfast, but she definitely won't be around for lunch or dinner. So that's something to keep in mind because we're trying to figure out what events conflict with our meal times for the upcoming week. That's the concept behind step number 1. For instance, Friday night. A lot of times we have a family event or a community event, whatever it might be. We usually don't worry about dinner on Friday night. Your calendar might look a little different. Maybe you have to, for instance, Monday night, maybe you have to drop the kids at soccer, for instance, you know? And that could be 5:30 to 8, whatever it may be for you, but it's going to conflict with that dinner time. And it's going to make you think a couple different ways, which I'll go through in a second here. Maybe you have an early morning workout class. Earlier workout class, maybe you got yoga going on super early and it conflicts with your usual breakfast time, for instance. Whatever it might be, plug in your calendar, however you manage your calendar in your household. Really look through it with whoever's in your household and see what events conflict. After you walk through what your week looks like, get your notepad and you're going to write it down just like I do here. Now, this is my example that we just walked through, right? So you got the days of the week on one column and then you have what's going on the other. So for instance, I keep it really simple. So for instance, Monday morning, I just write what's going on the AM. Wednesday, L for my wife, she's going on a work trip. Friday, PM. So you could literally just do AM, PM slots. You could technically get granular. I don't advise it. Simple to keep it simple, as funny as that might sound, but you can really overcomplicate this. I suggest you don't. Step 2, we're going to plug our meals into that schedule we just laid out there. Now, you want to match the meal to the energy of that day. For example, if you have a really high tempo Tuesday morning, you have crazy busy work schedule in the morning, or you're taking the kids to school, whatever it might be for you, you're going to plan for a to-go meal, meaning something easy you can grab and go or you can eat within 5 minutes. It could be something as simple as, for example, in my household, we do overnight oatmeal a lot. You might make a breakfast sandwich the night before, or a burrito, or whatever fits your needs, right? On the more chill mornings, you might have something you can make really quick. It could be as easy as cereal or granola, or maybe a really, really quick scramble, but I advise against being creative in the kitchen, right? Monday through Friday is not for creativity in the kitchen unless you have a super, super slow night and you want to just have like a little date night home or something fun like that. Sure, you got my permission to spend a little extra time making something fun. Sometimes my wife and I have Thursday night, she picks like a fun TikTok recipe or something like that, something I never heard of, and we make that. But you should really be planning for the creativity in the kitchen for the weekends only. Have some fun on Saturday or Sunday with that kind of stuff. Monday through Friday, we're getting work done. This is an operational environment we're running here in our home. But keep in mind too, a meal that you plan out, it doesn't necessarily have to be a full-on recipe. It could be as simple as planning takeout food in advance. So think how many times you come home, you order that DoorDash like I mentioned earlier, or you go pick up food or whatever it might be. It usually ends in some kind of greasy option that you overpay for. Maybe it's $50 for dinner as opposed to making a $8 meal at home or a $5 meal at home. If you plan it ahead of time, you're going to make a much better decision. You could plan for a healthier option. Maybe it's a Greek Mediterranean bowl kind of option, or a healthy burrito place, or whatever it might be. And it also gives you a break from cooking, gives you something to look forward to. It could be a freezer backup. It could be leftovers from another night you cooked. It could be a bowl of cereal. The only rule is you're planning ahead. Now, step 2 here, this is how I'm going to write it out in my notepad. So step 2, we're going to have the days of the week on one column. We're going to have breakfast, lunch, and dinner as the column headers, right? What I'm going to do, we're going to pull my meals from my no decision menu. I'm going to go through exactly how you create your own version of that in Habit 2. That's a very important part of this whole process. For my busy morning, I'm going to make a breakfast sandwich the night before so I can grab and go with it right out the door. Super easy to make. The rest of the morning options, I'm going to go with my go-to favorite, overnight oatmeal. That's going to be Tuesday through Friday. I'll usually make it ahead of time on Sunday, maybe even Tuesday night if I have the time for it though. For lunches, I always do some kind of batch meal, something I can prep ahead. This past week, we did a big batch of chili. We did, I think it was like 10 servings overall, right? 5 days for the week. Friday night, I know I'm having a family event, so I'm going to cross that out. We don't even have to worry about Friday night. The other nights, I'm going to lean into simple meal nights or meal categories to make my life really simple. Thursday night, I'm even going to pull from my freezer, the single most underrated tool in your kitchen. Now, I'm going to show you exactly how to use that as a backup system in habit number 3. Now, I've got a full week of meals planned. I'm going to cook breakfast once on Sunday, that egg sandwich, the overnight oats, under 45 minutes easy, the chili under an hour. Then I'm only cooking 2 meals during the week for dinner. Because for dinner, I gave myself a break in the middle of the week, a planned takeout meal, sushi. We watch Sushi and Survivor once on very frequently in this house. The theme nights, Monday marinara night, Tuesday taco night, it keeps things smooth without being super repetitive because you can still change out the recipes as long as it fits that category. But it takes the thought process out of deciding what meal to cook. Main point, dinner is no longer something I worry about all day leading up to it. It's decided way before 6 p.m. Because the days I don't have it figured out before 6 p.m., I'm doing that DoorDash scramble. There's nothing in the fridge. I spend 40 bucks on dinner. I sleep like shit. I wake up feeling super foggy and not ready for the day. I'm going to make bad decisions. Hundreds of decisions the next day. They're all going to be a little bit worse because I ate a shitty meal the night before that was unplanned. And that compounds into a bad week, a bad month, bad year. You get the example, right? Don't do that. Step 3, we're going to build our grocery list. Rule number 1 of step 3, just like Fight Club, never talk about the grocery list. I'm just kidding. Never go into the grocery list without a plan though. You're going to end up with 10 different DiGiorno's, a bag full of corn puffs or whatever guilty pleasure is. You're not going to do very well. Instead, you're going to write down the names of the recipes first. You're going to riff off that, and I'll show you exactly how to do this. And this process, it's going to get easier and easier every time you do it too. So step 3 with the grocery list here. See what I did here? Nice and neatly. I took the time to write it out for you. Usually it's not this neat. It's usually a little chicken scratch, but we're going to write down our different recipes with our servings next to it and our ingredient list next to it. Now, make it as simple as you can. Maybe you don't have to add in every single seasoning that you already have in your pantry. You know how you cook best because these meals right here, they're going to be part of your no decision menu, which we'll go through more in habit 2, but basically they're going to be recipes that you're able to do almost blindfolded. And more importantly, you're going to break this grocery list down to by a few different sections based off kind of how you grocery shop in your store. Kind of visualize when you're at your grocery store of choice. Do you go produce first? Do you get the protein first? Do you stop at the freezer section, the pantry aisle where the seasonings, all dry goods, stuff like that? How do you shop? That's how you're going to tailor your list, which I use. I use the reminders app on my phone all the time. If you're using a notepad, that's fine too. Whatever works for you like usual, just make it work for your lifestyle, what you're going to actually use though, and map it out. So for instance, you can see on my list here, on my reminders, I've got it listed out by protein, by produce, then the pantry items, some other stuff down here. You get the gist of it though. It makes it way easier because if you think about it this way, if you look at this grocery list right here, and you just go off this is madness. If you try to grocery shop by looking at this giant thing, you're going to go zigzagging all around. You're going to spend 2, 3, 4 times as much time in the grocery store, which, let's be real, grocery shopping kind of sucks. It's not the most fun part about all of this. So we're trying to make that more efficient, and that's by streamlining the process, categorizing your grocery list. Back when I ran my galley in the Coast Guard for a couple hundred people daily for months and months, we did the same concept, but thousands of dollars of inventory, right? Over my time in, Easily $500,000 in groceries went through these hands. The first time I put in a mass order, I think it was like $150,000 for a 6-month deployment or something like that. It scared the shit out of me, but then I started hearing the plan behind it. You map out your meals, divide the recipe list, you divide the ingredient list, you map it by category, and it gets much simpler. You break it down like you would a math problem or a word problem. Small bite-sized pieces that make it more actionable and repeatable each week after week. That's the habit we're building here. This step might seem a little intimidating at first, but once you get through habit 2, you're gonna fly through it much easier. Habit 1 is the one that structures this entire system, but it's also the hardest to keep up with on your own week after week. That's what I saw for you. Every Saturday morning, I send an email to a list of busy people who are trying to reduce the amount of decisions in their week. Each one gives you a no decision menu and a simple breakdown of a meal planning system you can put into action that week. All backed by my experience planning over 300,000 meals in the US military. You can grab the link below. You can sign up for free now. So where do these meals actually come from? This is habit 2. I call it the no decision menu. These are meals that you don't have to put that extra thought to figure out. You're not scrolling social media, Pinterest, whatever it may be, endlessly trying to find that perfect recipe or trying to figure out where you saved and bookmarked something. You're not going through your stacks of cookbooks that, let's be honest, you probably don't really use that much anyways. And the concept here is to be able to rotate through your different meals so you can change it up repeatedly. So for instance, we used to do these long cycle menus in the Coast Guard. 6, 8, 10, 12-week cycle menus where you'd rotate them out. And that's how we would plan months and months of deployments. To get started, start with 1 breakfast, 1 lunch, and 1 dinner to make it very easier for yourself. Build up to a few of each eventually. Now, for myself, I mentioned earlier, we do a lot of overnight oatmeal in the morning here. We change it up a bit. We add berries, bananas, chia seeds, protein powder, whatever to change it up just enough, but we keep that same core meal almost every single breakfast for a really long time in the house. We'll save the full eggs American breakfast for maybe Friday mornings if we have a really slow Friday, but usually just the weekends. Almost every single Monday in my house is marinara Monday. We have some kind of pasta dish. It might be as simple as canned or jarred marinara sauce, some spaghetti, and some bread. Sometimes we make it a little fancy. We might make a lemon garlic pasta. We might make a baked ziti or lasagna or something like that that can hold for the rest of the week or a couple more meals. We constantly change it up, but we try to stick as best we can into that category set. You know, Taco Tuesday, Sushi Wednesday, Stir Fry Thursday. More recently, we're doing Fish Friday, bringing it back from the Coast Guard. We used to do that all the time. You're going to write this no decision menu in a notepad, your computer, your phone, wherever somewhere safe that you know you can reference it really easily. You're going to write the recipe name, the ingredients, the amount of servings, just like you would any other recipe, right? If you need instructions, that's fine too, but you shouldn't really need the instructions as much as you might think, because these no decision meals, they're going to be something that you can cook almost from the top of your head. You don't need to reference that cookbook, that perfect Pinterest recipe. If it's as simple as cereal starting out, do a little better in life, but build up to it. Figure out what works for you. Whatever your baseline is, you can build on top of it, but keep it as simple as possible. Then you're going to be plugging these no decision menu meals into your week, just like I did here. So for instance, I've got the theme night on here, right? Marinara Monday, Taco Tuesday. So I'm going to go through where my no decision menu is on my phone, and I'm going to plug in that meal. Instantly, no decision needed whatsoever. When I'm building my grocery list, I already know exactly what I'm getting. Habit 3, the most underrated tool in the entire kitchen, the freezer. Most people, they're going to use the freezer as pure storage only, but they're using it at a 1% capacity of what they should be using. There's no system behind it. I mean, think about your own freezer right now. I guarantee there's at least 1 or 2 items in there that you have no idea that even exist. Maybe it's from months and months, hopefully not years ago. It's got freezer burn on it. Maybe it's moldy. It probably doesn't taste very good and you probably shouldn't eat it and you throw it out. That comes from just not having that operational experience using the freezer like a system. The move to kickstart this in the right direction is keep it very simple. So my marinara Monday pasta night with my wife. Usually people would cook 2 servings, eat the 2 servings, wash the dishes, be done, go to sleep. They're happy they planned it. That's kind of the novice move right there. We want to level up just a little bit. We're going to make at least 1 extra serving, ideally a couple, and we're going to freeze those extra servings. Not for the next day for lunch or dinner, but we're going to freeze it for the following week when we need that backup meal, reserve stock. On that super busy night, instead of opening your phone, ordering that delicious DoorDash that's going to cost you an arm and a leg, We're going to reach into our freezer. We're going to know we have that freezer meal in there already. It's going to save your butt. It takes an extra 90 seconds or so of thought, but using the system repeatedly, you're going to constantly do it. You put it in a container, you label it with a date, and then you use the most important rule for this step. You're going to use FIFO, first in, first out. All that means is that fresh food is going to go behind the old and you pull from the front of the freezer. That way you're always rotating. The backup meal is what covers you on those days that instead of reaching for DoorDash, you're going to have that extra option. You've got 3 habits to build upon. Plan the week in 10 minutes on Sunday. Pull from a no decision menu that you're going to get to work on today, and you've got to build up your freezer backup meals. Run all 3 together and you're going to build yourself a meal planning system that's easy to repeat week after week. It's going to compound itself into better decisions every day. And most important, that dinner decision, it's made before 6 p.m. hits. If you want to go deeper on habit 3, turning your freezer into a full backup meal planning system, watch this video next.